This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
I'm chilling.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What a cool way to be.
It's I'm a relaxed guy.
This week, Tim, what I've decided is maybe the only good company in the world.
Well, let me guess. What you think is a good company?
Yeah, the only good company.
LL Bean.
No, not LL Bean.
You don't like LL Bean?
No, I like them fine.
So they're good.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
I think you know what? I think the beans are probably richer than we think.
Now you're talking about all beans, black beans,
No,
beans?
the LL Beans. The family behind LL Beans.
Oh.
Ladies love beans.
That's what I thought it stood for.
Yeah.
That's why I was so confused.
I think their clothes are overpriced, not because they are of high quality, which they are, but I think they're also marked up.
Okay. So wait, so you're saying they're great, but their clothes are overpriced.
Yes.
Because they're marked up.
Yeah.
And you're acting like that's a huge revelation that you figured out their clothes
I'm not
marked up.
claiming anything.
I don't think they're selling these clothes at the same price they pay to have them made.
I'm not even saying that. I think maybe they're bumping it up even a little bit more than what's reasonable.
Yeah, well, them
as they want to do. However, look, Beans, if you're listening, the Bean family, ladies love you for a reason,
right? And boys love you too.
Yeah, be reasonable.
Tim, did you just make an expensive purchase from LL Bean?
I made several expensive.
Yeah, I bought boots from them
what?
the one time, and that was
I've never been let down.
Yeah,
I
was let down because I bought the boots, and even though they told me size them up or whatever, it's like, yeah, right. They're just saying that to idiots. So I ordered a pair and they didn't fit right. And it took a while to get that pair. It took months.
Wait, they say on their website, buy a size up?
Yeah, I think so.
Then change the goddamn sizes
to
make them
I think
accurate.
the thing is that they're like, these are meant to be worn, or maybe it was a size down. They're meant to be worn with like thick boots, thick socks.
I'm anti-LL Bean now.
Oh, wow.
They're like, oh, whatever your shoe size is, make it bigger here. Why don't you make the boot the right shoe size?
Yeah.
What's the one good company, Tom?
The one good company out there, Tim, is Red Bull.
Oh, gee, it's because of Flugtag?
No, not even because of Flugtag, but that's up there. Tim, I saw two cool Red Bull things this week.
Dirt bikes?
First was a dirt bike or a BMX bike
cool.
I think in Chile. I say Chile that way now.
Yeah. Nice.
But have you ever seen the videos where they do that like BMX or mountain bike run down like this crazy path?
Like a mountain?
No, it's like a city, like a small city kind of, or like a town, kind of like a densely packed town. There aren't like skyscrapers and stuff, but it's like through this narrow patch and it's like all downhill and they're going so fast and it's like so tight and really cool. Well, they did it this time with a drone, following the guy instead of just like a helmet cam.
Yeah.
But the whole setup was so neat because the drone. Do you know this about like
so you're gonna talk about drones?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about drones for a bit. You know, have you seen the like sports?
The movie Ambulance? Yes. I have.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Talk about drones.
And that's kind of what I think that drone operator does. These like sports drones, racing drones, and they wear VR goggles while they're doing it, while they're racing. But the cool thing is that the VR goggles are actually an analog signal because it's to...
What did Siri say?
It said I found this on the web, and then it looked like it had searched every word I said for the past 3 minutes.
Nice.
The signal is analog because that provides the shortest delay.
Okay.
Because
so it's like a vinyl record.
Yeah. Well, it's cool because the actual...
So it's connected by like a cord?
No, antennas.
Oh.
But the feed looks like a VHS tape. Like it looks so shitty, but it's fast, and that's all they care
it's got
about.
Warmth. To
well,
it.
and the camera on the drone is recording on its own. It's just not sending that back.
Mm.
But so because it's like these crazy streets, they had to set up all these antennas, and then they had to have like another drone chasing it to relay the antenna signal.
Okay.
It's very cool.
Can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
Why are you telling me this?
Because Red Bull's only good company.
Okay.
And then the second thing.
So, number one, Exhibit A.
Exhibit A just this week.
There was a BMX guy.
I think it was a mountain bike, actually.
Mountain bike, and a drone followed him.
Yep.
And it looked like a VHS tape.
Yes.
Okay.
No. It only looked like a VHS tape to the guy flying. To us, it looked like beautiful 4K.
Says. Okay.
And then the second one was it didn't work, but they did this where they tried to have two guys swap planes in the air.
What?
Yeah.
What are we back in like the 1930s?
Exactly. They're doing cool stuff. So they had these, I think they're brothers or cousins or something. And
devastating to the family when this goes south.
And I think the one guy was the dude who jumped out of a plane without a parachute that time and landed in a net.
Yeah, I remember that.
So this was two Cessnas.
Red Bull is an energy drink company, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, you talk about markups, Tim. They sell, a $5 can of Red Bull costs them $1.50 cents to make.
Yeah.
Probably the aluminum in the can costs more than the contents. So they just use all that money to just do cool stuff. And that's why I think they're the only good company.
Yeah.
But they did this two Cessnas, so two like small planes.
Okay. Oh, I would have liked it with two like big
747s.
Yeah, or those double-decker jumbo jets.
Well, the thing
with
is,
pianos
Tim,
on board.
They have to, the planes have to dive and then they jump out. Because otherwise, how are they going to get back up in there? But the planes had speed brakes.
Wait, what do you mean? How are they going to get back up in there?
Because if they jump out, they're just going to fall. So the planes also need to be falling. What do you mean? How are they going to get back in there? They got grappling hooks, don't they? But they had these speed.
The way I was thinking, Tom, is that they would fly
come
so
up next
close
to
each other that they just kind of walk out and they're still going straight, and they both balance out on the wings and then just jump into the cockpit.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I mean, you would think that would be safer, but I think that would be way more dangerous.
Yeah.
But no, this is two Cessnas. They had air brakes, which were basically just like huge flaps that came out of the bottom when they were in a dive to like make more surface area and slow the planes down a bit.
Yeah.
And I guess like autopiloting systems, but they didn't work that well because one guy was able to switch planes, but the other guy, the plane
chopped up in the propellers.
No, the plane just like immediately like veered off course and started like tumbling kind of. So it was like, oh yeah, he can't get in that plane. But
what happened to him?
He had a parachute on. They had parachutes.
What happened to the other plane?
The plane had a parachute too, they said, but they didn't show what happened to the plane. So I think the plane just crashed. There were survivors. They did it somewhere.
It was over the town where they were mountain biking.
It was over St. Louis. No, it was like in the middle of a desert somewhere. There were no even like spectators or anything like that. So everybody was safe. But I think the FAA was still mad. Of course, they got to be mad. They're not doing their job.
The FAA doesn't like it when you intentionally crash a plane.
Yeah, because there was that YouTuber who did it. Did you see that?
No, I don't see it. Tom, we don't travel. We're not on the same corners of the internet.
Well, it sounds like, Tim, I'm sad for your unextreme life because a lot of extreme stuff going on right now. If you just open up your eyes and pay attention a little bit.
LL Bean sweaters.
Yeah.
Watch that bank account just
drink an Ovaltine.
Ovaltine?
No, this YouTuber, I think it was back in December maybe, like posted a video where his plane failed, again, a Cessna, and he
look up. You keep saying this word Cessna.
It's just like a little, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's a little plane. It's kind of like the littlest, lightest most inexpensive plane. Very popular.
Yeah, like on wings.
Like on wings. Yeah, I should have mentioned. I think they have some of them on wings.
Like Lowell is really good at repairing Cessnas. If you told me that.
All right. Yeah, it's like a 4-seater plane. Very, very popular plane, recreational plane. But this guy was flying one and claimed that he had engine trouble, so he jumped out and parachuted.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately everybody who knows anything about planes, it's like, you don't wear a parachute while you're flying a plane just in case. And also
I would. And
also the guy like tried turning the plane back on for like 5 seconds and then was like, I got a bail, and just jumped out. And then later on, people slowed down the video and enhanced it, and you could see he had fire extinguishers.
CTU enhanced it for him.
They had he had fire extinguishers taped to his legs under his pants. I guess he was worried, like, well, what if I do this and like the plane starts a fire?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, if probably those 2 little fire extinguishers that fit in your pants aren't going to do anything. But like, he didn't call for help or anything.
Right.
And then people loaded up the same situation in Microsoft Flight Simulator because they were like, I don't know, looking at the video, there's like a huge patch there where you could very easily land this plane. And then, tested that in Flight Simulator, and they were like, oh yeah, anyone could have done an emergency. Yeah, it's not a runway, but it's like a flat.
Right.
So he got his license taken away because apparently the FAA does frown upon if you jump out of a plane and leave nobody in the plane and just.
But these Red Bull guys, they're fine because they're sanctioned by the best company in the world.
Yeah, they're sanctioned by
the only good company.
Look, this guy, the FAA is going to throw the book at him. The FAA wouldn't dare touch Red Bull.
No, I mean. They'd be like, well, you're doing a lot for aviation with your Flugtag experiments.
Yeah, you're figuring out new ways to fly all the time. You sent that guy up in the balloon the one time into space, and then he jumped out of the plane. Not Balloon Boy. Tim, don't even insinuate that Red Bull had anything to do with the Balloon Boy fiasco.
Yeah. Tom, you ever drink a Red Bull?
Not in a very long time.
I drank one time. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, a lot of energy in those.
Yeah, I thought my heart was going to beat out of my chest.
Yeah.
I had to lie down.
I went and ordered so much stuff from the LL Bean catalog, I couldn't even believe it. I was in a fugue state the whole time.
It's in a Flugtag state.
Tim, this week we're doing a suggested topic from a guy named Nick. I think it was he didn't have a last name.
On Patreon.
Patreon.com/complete guide. Hey, one of the perks there, sometimes we do a call for topics.
And Tom will kind of say your name.
I think that's all he put, Tim. I'm not going to go dig into his records and...
Well, maybe there's a way we could find out more about this Nick fella.
Oh, I see where you're going. Because this week we're talking about private investigators.
Yeah. Hey, guess what, Nick? Clock is ticking. We're going to find out so much about... We're going to dig up so much about you.
Were you about to say, guess what, Nick? TikTok. And then you were like, wait... Nick talk? Is that what I'm trying to say?
Tom, there's something there.
Yeah, there was a pause there.
Tom, today I was walking down the street,
mm-hmm.
And I saw a van parked, and on the side of the van it said one word. You want to know what this word said?
What?
Halen.
Halen? Oh, like Van Halen? Oh, I get it.
And I took a picture of it. I was late to a pediatrician appointment for my son, but I stopped and took a picture of it. And my wife was like, why are you stopping and taking a picture of this van? And I was like, I'm formulating a joke here. But I couldn't figure out how to execute it.
Right.
You post that on Instagram with a caption, but what is it? Or without a caption.
I would post that without a caption.
Yeah.
Let people figure it out. Have it be like a nice little word game.
Yeah. Ooh, maybe I should start a daily word game.
Yeah, Tim, but for all you know, that could have been the start of the next Wordle.
Yeah.
But I just, Tim, I don't want this to simmer into resentment for your son over the upcoming years.
No, it's
not fair
Tom,
to him.
I got the
Well,
shot.
did you post it to Instagram?
Not yet. I'm still thinking about it. It's still marinating.
Oh, I see. But maybe by the time people are hearing this, it's already been out.
Yeah.
But then, Tim,
either that or they're hearing a big extended bleep right now.
But then people are going to know, they're going to be like, oh, that Tim, he posts things like they're off the cuff. But I hear.
Why does it matter?
I heard the process. You were just telling me, you were complaining that Beyonce's Academy Award performance happened a week before and was taped, and they told us it was live.
I wasn't mad about it.
Yeah. What if you
it
found
was
out
a boring performance?
What if you found out that Will Smith had actually slapped Chris Rock a week earlier and they kept it under wraps?
Can I tell you how much it's we're recording this on April 28th.
Uh-huh.
The Oscars were sometime in mid-March, I think.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, 6 weeks ago. About.
Yeah, Tom, I read so much slap discourse this week. Happily,
yeah.
I've been seeking out articles about the slap.
Will Smith's in India right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Slapping people probably all willy-nilly.
Yeah, who knows? Or maybe he fled
We're the
there.
last two people on Earth that care.
Because of they've got some kind of pro-slapping laws.
They got lax slap laws over there.
It's like, Chris Rock will never find me here.
You know how Chris Rock could find Will Smith, though?
With a private investigator.
He could hire a private investigator, a PI.
Yeah. I don't think you'd need a PI to
watch
track
your
down
ass,
Will
Nick.
Smith.
There. Ooh, look out the window right now. Is that a regular flower truck or a private investigator?
I mean, again, I think I could probably just like log into Patreon and find out his last name. I think it's just he doesn't want his last name.
And you're going to charge me for it?
I'm not getting what? Oh, as a private investigator? Yeah. It hadn't crossed my mind, but it sounds like you'd be mad about it, but you'd pay.
Let me ask you this, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into everything, do you think you would be a good private investigator?
I think I would be a really good private investigator. What?
I've thought about this.
Uh-huh.
Based on what?
I think I'm pretty good at following people. I think I'm good at like not being noticed if I don't want to be noticed. And I think I'm good at like I'm tenacious.
What?
Yeah.
Tenacious?
Yeah, I'd get to the bottom of things.
No, you don't. The slightest hiccup, and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna go take a nap.
Not if I'm getting paid. Not if I've got Chris Rock and not only paying me, but saying,
Well, the slap, that would be like a passion project you'd take on. Investigating the slap.
I mean, I've been doing it freelance for the past 6 weeks for no pay. So, well, Tim, I actually looked into...
Because like sometimes private investigators have to talk to people, Tom, and you don't like talking to people.
Yeah, that was the one thing I saw. One of the things they do is like door knock interviews.
Yeah, yeah, you don't talk to...
Well, but here's the
Tom,
thing.
You not talk... You don't like talking to like a clerk in a store.
Yeah.
But that's because you're going to get heated, you're going to scream and ask for the manager, trying to get them fired.
Yes, I try and just ask for the manager right when I walk in. Man, I used to have that when I worked in retail. Sometimes people would come in and ask for the manager right away.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, boy. And you would assume that it was like, they're coming in for, they're mad about something. Sometimes they would come in and ask for the manager, and then you would ask why. It was like because they wanted to buy something, but they wanted the manager to help them buy it instead of like a salesperson.
Yeah.
And you'd have to explain to these people like, oh, the managers don't know shit about what's actually being sold. Like,
they don't thinking have to, that the manager isn't going to be working on commissions, so they'll be getting an honest assessment.
Maybe that was part of it. I think it was probably like to be honest, we had a lot. I worked at an Apple store. So like we had a lot of people where it's like, I'm coming in and I'm spending like a lot of money buying a computer or whatever. I want like white glove service for this. And they didn't understand that it's like a manager can't tell you anything about this computer that just came out. They don't really know.
Right.
Because that's not their job. The salespeople know all the specs
to verify
and
the time cards.
Yep.
To make sure nobody's stealing anything.
Yep.
Tom, would you ever go into... I'd like to be one of these upstanding citizens that goes into a place, asks for the manager. Everybody's like, oh no, this guy's asking for the manager. And be like, I was in here last week. I just want to tell you, Jimmy over at the deli counter is doing a bang-up job. He did so great.
We had that happen. That was always nice when
Would you ever do that?
I probably wouldn't come back the next week. Yeah, maybe I would though.
I'd like to think I would, but in no way would I ever go in and ask for the manager or be like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go initiate it. I'd be afraid the manager would be like, all right,
well,
weirdo.
Now you're in trouble.
Either I'm in trouble or they'd be like, all right, you creep. Why you remembered the person's name?
Yeah,
why didn't you just buy your freaking half pound of Swiss and get the hell out of here?
Yeah, why don't you just buy it online like everybody else?
Yeah.
Tim, I looked into what it takes in New York State, which is where we live, to become a private investigator.
Okay.
It takes very little, Tim. I think we could become one tomorrow if we really wanted.
Let's hang our shingle, Tom.
Here are the requirements for New York. You must be 25 years old.
Done.
Well,
I'm turning 25 next month.
You know what though, Tim? I didn't look at this closely enough. It doesn't say or older. It says you must be 25 years old.
Oh no.
I guess that's the only way you can get into this racket. You got to decide when you're 25. You must be a principal in a business entity. We have a business entity, and we're both, I believe, principals in it. There's nobody else in the company except me and you.
Yeah. God.
You. Well, of course. I think, depending...
Hey, Tom, we owe it all to the man upstairs,
depending
right?
on the person that we deal with, that might really tickle them. They might say, you know what, the rest of the requirements, don't worry about it. The proof of fingerprint completion, I think it's
you
just...
got fingerprinted once.
Yeah, and I passed. Nothing came up. There weren't any... missing jewels that were recovered that had my fingerprints on them.
I've never been fingerprinted, Tom. They can't do it. I'm too slippery.
I got too greasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're always licking your fingers.
Exactly.
They're too pruny. That's what it is.
No, they put my thumb on the pad and then they put it on the paper. It's just like a big.
Yeah.
It just goes.
Yeah, it looks like
a big splotch.
It looks like when you put silly putty on newspaper.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I evade the police.
So you need that. Proof of a $10,000 surety bond? Surety bond?
Okay, $10,000.
$10,000 bond. I mean, I guess you maybe have to put up 10,000.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Jesus, 5,000 each. We can handle that. If employing security guards, evidence of liability.
We don't need them. Don't need them.
Evidence.
I'm my own security guard, Tom. Here, listen to this.
Wow. Oh, he's cracking his knuckles. Evidence of liability insurance in the minimum amount of $100,000 per occurrence and $300,000 in the aggregate. And a statement that the coverage includes false arrest or false imprisonment, malicious prosecution, libel, slander, and violation of the right to privacy. So once we get this insurance, Tim, then we don't have to worry about, later on getting wrapped up in some false imprisonment charges or some libel or slander.
We both lose $5,000 for false imprisoning somebody?
I don't think even
Sounds
that. This
worth it to me.
This is different. This is just liability insurance. I don't think it's even that much. I don't know what this bond's for. Here's the two tricky parts, but I think one of them's fine, which is you have to either have 3 years experience or 3 years equivalent position and experience or 20 years of service as a police officer or fire marshal. So you need 3 years experience investigating. Tim, we got 12 years experience investigating things on this podcast?
We've been investigating things our entire adult lives.
We go ahead, we export the archives to reel, and we show up at the office and we say, here's your proof. And they're going to be like, oh, boy.
Tom, we're going to back up a freaking Brinks truck full of these reel-to-reels.
And they're going to decide we don't have the manpower to go through all this. Okay, fine.
But we're going to make them. We're going to falsely imprison them and make them listen to everything.
Yeah. Well, too bad, because as you just saw, we have this insurance against false imprisonment. So I think that would be fine. And then the last one is pass the private investigator exam within 2 years immediately prior to application date.
How hard could that be? Did you look that up?
I did. I did a few.
Is it all about like, oh, you can't like murder the suspect?
It was a little harder than that, but not much harder. Like honestly,
give me some.
Let me see if I still have it loaded. Tim, you're catching me off guard, but I don't.
Tom, a good private investigator needs to think on its feet.
That's true. See
already. Oh, bam.
Oh, I think I did on my computer. I'm not going to turn on my computer. But they were, oh, so you're just going to do it and be distracted the rest of the episode?
No, you keep talking.
They were pretty easy. I did like a 15 question test exam, and I think I got like 10 of them right. So it definitely struck me that, if I read a book about this, I would be able to pass this, no problem.
Wait, you didn't read a book in preparation for this episode?
No. Because I didn't know if we were going to be taking... Oh, I have I'm an idiot. I have a link to it right here, Tim.
I got a Quizlet here. What type of crime is operating as a private investigator without a license? A Class B misdemeanor. Why do you need to know that if you're going to have a license?
Well, maybe that's one of the options. I'm not going to know this because I've got to but what if you're investigating a fake private investigator?
Oh, that's okay.
And you need to falsely imprison them, charge them with something.
All right, that's fair. All these questions that I'm seeing are all about like setting up the private, like what is the term of a private investigator license?
What do you mean? Oh, I think it's like a lifetime.
2 years.
Well, for some people that could be a lifetime.
Of an individual private investigator license?
$400, I think.
Wow, Tom, aced it. Hey, you're my star pupil.
Wait a minute, these are the questions on the test when you know you've already paid for the test, and you can't look at your receipt. Yeah. Oh, I found. Yeah, equivalent experience is defined as 3 years in a position where the primary duties were to conduct investigations. Or 3 years of experience supervising and reviewing the work of at least 3 persons performing it. Well, we got on the first one.
Yeah.
We've spent 3 years doing investigations.
Also, I've been a police officer for 30 years.
A mobile surveillance. If the investigator is not careful, what most likely could draw suspicion from your target?
This is part of the exam?
See, I think none of these are actually exam. I think they keep that pretty hidden. I don't think they keep it hidden. I just think probably so few people take this exam that you can't like go to Barnes and Noble and get a study book about it. It just says what most likely could draw suspicion from your target, and I'm gonna assume it's erratic driving.
What were the other ones?
Staying a safe distance behind the target vehicle and driving the speed limit, or none of the above.
Okay. Sometimes that none of the above can get you, though.
That's true. Robert is a retail sales clerk. Let's do one more of these. One day he sees an old detective show on TV and decides he'd like to be a private investigator.
Hell yeah.
Tim, no, as a PI, there's the kind of thing you have to know what kind of Class B misdemeanor it is, despite having no experience in the PI business. Though he never actually claims to be licensed, he buys some camera gear, puts on an old trench coat. Oh, awesome. Yeah. And starts soliciting clients who pay him.
He Columbos it, Tom.
Yeah, pay him for his investigative services. Due to his lack of experience, of course, Robert makes some serious mistakes, and his angry clients report him to BSIS.
BS
and bullshit investigative services. That's what I would say if they reported me.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, well, I guess you got me there. You do have a raincoat on after all. BSIS may immediately have Robert arrested for misdemeanor fraud per Civic Code, blah, 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 and have him imprisoned in the county jail for up to 1 year. BSIS may issue Robert a citation with an administrative
What
fee.
did Robert do? He bought some camera gear and a freaking trench coat?
He's soliciting clients and offering investigative services. Yeah, I think it's just you get a fine. Maybe a misdemeanor too. Yeah, it's a question.
What was the question?
What could happen to him?
Okay.
What action may be taken against Robert?
You didn't change the inflection of your voice for like 4 full minutes.
Well, it was a lot to read. Mary goes out to interview neighbors near the crime scene, and she runs into a sex offender who attacks her in his garage. Mary sprays him with a tear gas weapon she carries openly on her belt at all times, and thus escapes unharmed. Mary has not taken any training courses for such a simple weapon because it works so easily.
Mary, you should take the training classes.
Yeah, I think it's all private investigators.
Tom, you're not clearly communicating what is happening. Right
No,
now.
it's fine. I mean, that's the way I'm going to conduct my private eye business. So people should get used to it. If you're hiring me, this is the kind of thing you're going to get. You mentioned Columbo, and I want to mention before I forget. You ever see this clip of Columbo at Frank Sinatra's roast?
The real Columbo?
Peter Falk in character as Columbo.
Oh, wow.
Who is brought up onto stage as just like, there's like a fan in the audience, and he's a great cop for the
Blue Eyes
for the LAPD, and at first he just like gives a wave, but then Dean Martin's like, no, come on up. And he just comes up. He's in character the whole time, just doing bits about like his wife wanting an autograph, and then they like cut to Ronald Reagan laughing his head off. And then
is it funny? Is he telling jokes?
It's not that funny, but it's pretty good.
You know what? Whenever that Rat Pack got together, they would just laugh at anything.
Yeah. I mean, I would laugh if somebody
as long as you were like one of them. Like if somebody else said something, they'd
as long as you're Ronald Reagan or somebody like that. But if I had a roast and somebody got Peter Falk in character as Columbo to come up,
it's scary as hell.
Why would it be scary?
He's been dead for 20 years.
I thought you were going to say in case I had done something nobody had heard about, and then he's
there for a reason, Tom. You out.
He brought lasagna that his wife made for Frank, and he gave it to him. He didn't roast Frank Sinatra at all. So like he was in character in our world. So he knew who Frank Sinatra was and everything.
I mean, Frank Sinatra is
popular across the multiverse.
Of course. Tom, Columbo was a lieutenant. He wasn't a private investigator.
I know. But he's got a lot of techniques that I think private investigators can learn from.
We got to get this thing back on track.
All right, Tim, you wanted to get things back on track. Go ahead. Get things back on track.
Oh, I was going to let you lead.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos about private eyes. First one.
Tom, can I ask you a real quick question?
Uh-huh.
How many hours a day do you spend watching YouTube videos?
I spend a lot of time watching YouTube videos. Not long ones. I mean, not short ones.
Cumulatively, 2 hours a day?
Yeah, probably about 2 hours a day, I'd say.
3 hours a day?
Maybe 3 hours a day some days.
4 hours a day?
No, not 4 hours. I don't spend 4 hours a day doing anything, not even sleeping. This was from a YouTube channel called The PI Guy.
Oh.
So he did one about pros and cons of becoming a private investigator.
Did it auto-complete to your previous search, the PISS guy?
The piss guy?
Yeah,
Tim?
that was your previous,
what is that?
That was your previous search.
Why would I be searching the piss guy?
You tell me.
And who is that? You have somebody in mind that you're thinking of?
That's the videos that you're watching when you're not doing research
that
for this show.
Tim, that never even occurred to me, but the autocomplete in your brain heard the PI guy and filled in the piss guy. Anyway, the PI guy. You want to hear the cons first or the pros that he listed of becoming a PI?
Let's start with let's accentuate the positive.
Okay. Also found this out. I'll get to it later, maybe. No, I'll tell it now. Apparently,
I'm glad you're having this argument with yourself.
A lot of private investigators nowadays, they don't like to say they're private investigators because of the connotation, in the media and stuff. No, they don't say they're private dicks either. You know what they say they are? legal investigators.
Yeah, that's stupid.
I mean,
because you're still just following around people doing gutter stuff, right? Like cheating on their spouse.
Well, a lot of them do like insurance claim investigations and stuff. So like and like a lot are hired by lawyers of like, hey, our client, slipped and fell in this place. We need evidence. So like that's who they'll hire to go out and take pictures and all that.
Guy's playing basketball and he's trying to collect on a pain and
they do that a lot. Like follow him and get timestamp video and pictures and stuff.
Those freaking private investigators or whatever legal investigators should be tarred and feathered.
Why?
Because screw them. Let somebody run their scam. Just go after philandering husbands.
What about? Because I know of somebody. This isn't like a friend of mine. There's like a few steps removed. Somebody in my family who worked with somebody.
This was a close family member who did this.
No, their husband was a state cop.
Okay.
And went out on disability falsely and was, collecting, tax money from me and you.
Well, if it's tax money, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you're duping some private company, sorry. Don't get duped.
Well, don't get caught either. That would be my thing.
Well, if don't send somebody after me to catch me. That's not fair.
I mean, that's not fair to who? Is that fair to you?
Yeah. Let's even the playing field
here. I was trying to cheat you.
If I fooled you, right? If I fooled you, and then you're going to hire somebody to be like, oh, you didn't fool me. No, I fooled you. I didn't fool this third party that's now involved.
No, I think when you like make a claim like that, you haven't actually fooled anyone yet, but they can't disprove it.
The checks are coming in, Tom.
So then they'll try and be like, well, now let's see if this guy can fool us. Let's send somebody to go watch his every move.
Like I got time to fool every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's trying to freaking uncover my web of lies.
I think you would have time if you were collecting a check and not having to work. You'd have all the time in the world, which is why you're taking up basketball, apparently.
Shooting hoops.
No, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I mean, me and you are both, I think we're pretty like lawful people.
Yeah.
And I think the main...
Say awful?
I think the main reason is that we're both like terrified of getting caught doing something we're not supposed to do.
No, I think we're just, I mean, I'm speaking only for myself.
Oh, I was speaking only for you.
I don't have the inclination to do terrible things or to be...
But let's say you worked for a company that was awful.
I'm pretty doe-eyed, Tom.
Let's say you worked for a company that was awful and you knew they were doing bad things and you were like, you know what, screw this company. I'm going to commit insurance fraud.
Right.
The reason why you wouldn't do it is because you would be terrified of being caught.
Right.
You would just not be able to relax. Because you'd always...
that's part of it.
Yeah.
I think also, like, inherently, I'd be like, no, that's wrong. I'm not going to do that.
Well, you just said it's fine to do, though. Oh, it's fine for other people to do.
For other people to do.
Because you look down on everybody. You think you've got moral superiority over everyone.
I do have moral superiority over most people, yes. But also, I'm saying live and let live.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, like, they should be more like me.
Live and let die. The episode, we're
out of
sued.
sync.
Oh, no, we're not out of sync. I'm just saying, Paul McCartney's listening right now. He goes, "Ooh, you think you'd be singing my song, do you? Well, I'll see to that." And he hires a PI to follow us for the next 10 years of our lives.
First of all, he'd love to have the publicity.
He would, yeah. He's been trying to get the word out about his music for decades now.
Second of all, Sir Paul is what, 80 years old?
Yeah.
He's not listening to podcasts.
He's got people. Listen to the podcast. Make sure they're not saying things about me.
Ringo's so busy he can't even sign autographs anymore.
Is that true?
Yeah. He put out a video like 12 years ago being like, do not send me things. I will not sign them and send them back to you. Peace and love. Where the hell
were they even sending? Don't give out your address, Ringo.
I mean, for a while, you send Ringo something. It could be Tom. It could be anything.
Wow.
He'd sign it and send it right back to you.
Huh. We should do that.
Now he's investigating unlicensed use of Wings songs.
I'm too busy doing work for Paul. Well, how do we even get on this? Oh, fraud investigation.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy how often people are caught where these PIs don't even have to do any work. They just have to like pull up somebody's Instagram.
Right.
And they're like,
yeah,
here they are. Like,
excel.
I just ran the Boston Marathon.
Right.
With a broken back?
That's where you would excel at private investment.
Yeah.
Anything that could be easily Googled, you're on the case.
All right.
That's your job.
Thanks for hiring me.
And I'll be in charge of all the gunplay.
All right. I forget. You wanted to hear pros or cons?
I want to hear. Remember, we're accentuating the positive.
Okay. The pros. You don't need any training, and it's pretty easy to get a license.
I thought you were supposed to have 3 years of like investigating.
That's experience, but not training.
Okay.
And that's also for New York. And I feel like New York's probably, I feel like if you want to get this in like, Kentucky, it's going to be a lot easier than if you want to get in New York.
Ooh, shots fired.
Well, I'm just saying like me and
Kentucky's like a podunk state.
No, it's just that they're looser with laws and regulations. It's a lot easier to get
Not about abortion, Tom.
But it's a lot easier to get a gun in Kentucky than it is in New York.
Right.
But yeah, you're right about the abortion thing, I guess. So, I still think the private eye laws probably veer more towards, sure, go ahead. Become a private eye. You can make your own schedule.
That's nice.
Yeah. Money. Guy said there's decent money in it.
Now, all right.
Mm-hmm. And he gave examples if you're interested.
All right. I would like to hear.
So he was saying like, anywhere from I think I even wrote it down, but like $75 to $100 an hour is what private investigators charge. But he gave the caveat of like if you're being a private eye, like your own business, which you can work for private eyes, which I think is where like that experience thing falls into.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to be my own boss.
Yeah. He cautioned, though, if you're your own boss, you're also going to have expenses.
Right.
So he was,
I just get them reimbursed.
He was basically saying, like, if you make $100,000 in revenue for a year, you're probably going to take home 45 to 60. I don't know if he was talking before tax or after tax, though.
Right. I also think no PI is paying taxes.
I'm also thinking like $50,000 worth of expenses because like other than that, I watched this other video from.
It's a lot of coffee on stakeouts, Tom.
That's true. I watched another video from Suburban Security Services, and he had like his case with all of his tools. Not all of his tools, but what he claimed were the 3 most important tools. And it was a voice recorder that was definitely a much cheaper voice recorder than what we're using right this very moment. And we've already got this one, so we could probably just use this one.
Okay.
A bug sweeper. Okay. So you can like sweep for bugs. And he said this comes in handy sometimes. Sometimes he gets divorce cases where there might be competing private investigators, and he said he's had cases with a woman, for example, that's like, I think my husband's bugged the house or whatever,
right? So
he'll use that to check.
Have you ever bugged any place, Tom?
No.
Have you gone to a spy store and bought anything that I don't know that you have?
No, I wish. God, I mean, I've gone to a spy store and drooled over the idea of things. I don't.
Once you buy something at a spy store, you're on
they
a
put
list,
you on
right?
a list. I mean, the thing is, like, I don't really have an interest in, like, for example, spying on you. Because it's like, well, when am I going to find out that, like, Tim says mean things about me? I know he says mean things about me. Yeah. I'm not going to find out anything I don't know.
What specifically do you think I say behind your back?
I don't. you probably say things like, Tom's problem is that he's so smart.
He's too smart for his own good.
Yeah, that he's going to get himself into trouble one day being that smart.
Being that smart and handsome can be a real
yeah, and that would be devastating
liability.
to hear.
Yeah.
In a situation like that. And then the third one was a camera. And now this one, this is what I love this guy, because he was talking about how he's like, some of these private eyes, they've got these fancy cameras. And he's like, don't get a fancy camera. Get a nice, easy, simple to use point and shoot. He actually gave some good tips about, because he also showed he had like a GPS in his car. And he was like, he's like, some private eyes are too reliant on their phones. And he's like, the problem with using my phone as a GPS is if I get a phone call
right.
and I'm following somebody, then I don't have it. And he said, like, same reason why he has like a camera. But I loved, he's explaining like, people get these expensive ones. You don't want that. It's more conspicuous. You don't need all those features. And then he showed his and he goes, this is a Nikon Coolpix. Come on, give me a break.
I had a Coolpix.
Yeah, I think everybody did back in the day. That was a cool camera.
Yeah. I took it to Austin with me in 2006.
Wow. Do you saw those pictures?
Yeah, they're on Flickr.
Nice. I mean, it is funny. Like, somewhat recently, I was going through my like photo library, and it is crazy that like if I go back to like pictures from college 20 plus years ago now, I had like a nice expensive digital camera, and the pictures all look great. Mm-hmm. And then like around 2007 to like 2010, it's like every picture I have looks like shit. Because it was like, guess what? Our phones take pictures now.
Right.
And I stopped bringing around something like a Coolpix that was great. So yeah, get an Nikon Coolpix. If you walk away from anything.
But don't you want one of, like, I feel like 99% of the time, Tom.
Yeah.
Me and you, private investigators, we're going to be on stakeout.
Yeah.
You're in a parked car.
You're going to say we'll be on stage.
Oh, we're going to be in a parked car a couple 100 yards away. Mm-hmm. We're going to need one of those big cameras and just from a long way away, just going ka-chung, 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 ka-chung.
And you see the guy just looking back and forth and then kissing our client's wife passionately.
Exactly. So that's my wife.
That's what our client would say.
No, when we show him the pictures, it would be like, yeah, I know, you hired us to follow her. Why were you following my wife? Well, we were doing this pro bono. We were doing this on spec. We knew your wife was cheating on. See, this is how we get our clients.
What if she's wearing lingerie and you say we were doing this pro bono and he misunderstands and he starts throttling you? And you're like, no, it's this guy. And you're holding up the picture. This is the guy you want to get. I don't know about doing it pro bono. Also, keep in mind, Tim.
No, I was saying on spec.
Oh, on spec.
So, like, we know a guy's wife is cheating on him, right? Uh-huh. But he doesn't know. This poor sap. He doesn't suspect a thing.
Yeah, but imagine how much money he'll pay once he finds out.
No, this is just to prove our worth.
Oh, to other clients.
Yeah, and then guess what? This guy, if he doesn't pay us, then we'll put it all on a billboard. And like buy digital ads and be like, this guy's wife was cheating on him and we caught her, right? We'll put a picture of him, a picture of her kissing the other guy, this guy being cuckolded.
I have a picture of the two of us, of course.
With their arms crossed back to back.
Yeah, holding the big camera.
You're holding the big camera, I'm holding a smoking gun.
What's the implication there?
I'll shoot someone.
Hey, look, I'll take care of it. Whether you got problems with your wife, whether you want.
No, I'm not going to shoot a lady. I probably shot the guy that didn't pay us.
Whether you want the problem solved with a camera or with a gun. We offer both in our at our practice.
You know what? We'll use our discretion. You're paying for us to decide which one is more appropriate to use at any given time.
Right. Would you like us to take pictures or kill somebody?
Shoot them in the foot so they can't get away.
But I was going to say, this guy, the tips here were from Suburban Security Services. he's suburban. He doesn't have the long lens.
Yeah.
He's not doing those kinds of jobs.
Is the piss guy?
What?
Is the piss guy?
No, that's the other guy. The piss guy, who's not the piss guy, the PI guy. Tim, you're pissing off the wrong people.
Who? This PI?
Yeah, this PI is going to come following you.
I'm not saying I was alluding to your earlier website searches.
His last pro is you get to be your own boss.
Yeah, that's all I want. PI.
But now here are the cons. The first con is the same as the first pro, no formal training.
Right.
So basically it's like, yeah, you can become a PI, but nobody's going to tell you how to do it. You're going to have to seek out your own training.
You ever see a show called Veronica Mars?
Yeah.
That's all the training I need.
Okay. Well, as long as you're safe with that.
All 3 original.
Comfortable with that.
Seasons.
Uh-huh.
Part of the movie.
Yeah.
And part of the new season.
Uh-huh. And
I didn't like the movie in the new season.
Yeah,
much.
It seemed like one of those revivals.
It was a revival.
No, one of those revivals that people were just like, this isn't the same. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I learned, we were talking last week about requels.
Yeah.
Another term.
/sequel.
Yeah, another term, which you may have heard, but I never heard, legacy quill.
Yeah.
And that's like the new Ghostbusters movie and like the Jurassic Park movies of like, this is a sequel to something that already has a legacy. And it's going to be like, the new batch. But then we're going to have the old people like come in and do cameos and whatever.
Like Gremlins.
His second con, the hours. But then the example he gave was... He's like, sometimes I'm up 4 o'clock in the morning. It's like, oh, that sucks. Sometimes I don't get home until 10 o'clock at night. It's like, well, that doesn't sound too bad for being a PI. I thought you were going to say, like, sometimes I'm on stakeouts for 48 hours straight.
Yeah.
It's like, you're
also,
home by
like,
10. You must not be
like,
investigating, like, real criminals. That's when the real crimes happen.
Are you, are we going to be the private eyes, or we're going to, like, sidle up to people at the bar and try to get information about people?
Depends on the case, Tim.
All right, because I want to go to a bar.
Okay, but you want to be paid $100 an hour to do it?
Exactly.
And keep your receipts so that might out you as a private eye, though. If you're like, oh, I need an itemized receipt.
That's why, Tom, Applebee's always gives you an itemized receipt.
That's true, yeah. But you got to hope that that's where your target's going, or that you're very persuasive. You find him at another bar, and you're like, this place blows. Let's go to Applebee's. They give itemized receipts.
So they have these hypnotists, right?
Yeah.
Or like these Darren Brown type guys.
Uh-huh.
Don't you think they should go into the private investigation game?
I don't think they're interested in making like $100 an hour.
Why not?
Because they make more than that.
Why aren't they the president then?
You got me there, Tim. I don't know. I mean,
all I'm saying is like, if you can talk to somebody.
Yeah. I think they don't.
And then at the end of the night, turns out, guess what? They are going to Applebee's because you planted the seed in their head. And so you're double dipping, right? Because they're going to Applebee's.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting $100 an hour because you're investigating them for a client.
Yeah.
And you're in Applebee's now. You have 6 or 8 drinks. Your client's on the hook for expenses too, Tom. So it's more than $100 an hour.
Well, I was going to say,
it's
actually,
another like $80.
A good way to get your target to Applebee's would probably be telling them, hey, guess what? Drinks on me, but only at Applebee's.
Oh, yeah.
And the drinks are on the client. Oh, the client might be mad if they find out that you charge like $100 for drinks for like the man sleeping with their wife.
That's why we make them sign a contract, and that's why I have the gun.
The next con were expenses. And one of the expenses
I think it's pro.
He gave was like business expenses, like buying video cameras.
Oh, okay.
Also, he had
got a phone, Tom.
An expense I didn't think about, tinting his car. Because he needed tinted windows. And then he just plugged like...
but these are one-time expenses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. But then the guy talked about his books for a while. This guy's got like 1 million books,
the
apparently.
PI guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the next one he gave was time... I mean, these next two are kind of combined. time management and cash flow. But the way he was describing it, it was like, oh, this isn't anything that anyone working for themselves doesn't deal with.
Right.
Of like, you're not getting a paycheck, so you've got to, manage your cash flow so that you're
working for yourself. It's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's no different.
Everything I'm getting is a pi guy, like 3.14159.
Oh, that kind. Oh, not even the fun kind of pie.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tim, I also watched a channel called Top Tens.
Top 10. It was just a David Letterman
no.
channel.
You know what? I don't think they even did 10 things.
Should we do a top 10 list every week?
Oh, sure.
On the
if
show?
you want. I mean,
Nobody
can.
does that anymore, huh?
Yeah, I guess not.
Dave.
Number 10. All right, let's hear some off the top of your head. Number 10 reasons not to become a PI. Number 10.
Joey Buttafuoco is no longer committing adultery. Right? Because you want to have a high profile case like Joey Buttafuoco.
Why would you want to have a high profile case like Joey Buttafuoco?
What do you mean?
And now you're following Joey Buttafuoco, or you're working for him?
You're following him. You're working for
okay.
Mary Jo.
So that's a bad thing about becoming a PI is that Joey Buttafuoco isn't.
He could raise your profile as a PI. Don't you want to I guess that's a problem. You got to thread the needle, huh?
Yeah, you don't want to be recognized walking the
But
streets.
you want to be good enough. You want to be recognized enough that people are going to hire you.
Yeah. Well, Tim, I think you're going to like my answer for the solution to that. Disguises.
Okay.
Yeah. I was watching this video. Yeah, I think it was this one. With oh no, this was the PI guy. He was talking about disguises. And a lot of people will, if you're tailing somebody, wear a jacket and a hat, because then you can take those things off and look different, or keep like a baseball cap in the sleeve of your jacket so you can quickly take it out and throw it on. That I like. I've had like a handful of situations where I've had to like take off a sweatshirt or something because it's like, I don't want to be followed. I don't want somebody to know. I can't actually remember. And I don't think it was anything bad. It was more like socially awkward of like, oh, that I said goodbye to these people, but then I had to come back this way, and now I see them again.
That happens.
So I got to change so they don't recognize me.
There's one specific time. It happened in 2015.
Okay.
I met some people for brunch. We were walking away. I was like, all right, I gotta head out. And I left, and then I went somewhere else, and I came back. I saw them walking down the street. And to this day, I think about this, and it chills me to my bones. And I saw them again, and I just said hi.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah, but imagine if you had a baseball cap up your sleeve and you could have thrown that on.
I mean, they were all good friends of mine.
You could have gone up to somebody homeless and been like, "I'll give you $20 for your jacket." And you're like, "All right."
Or just clock somebody on the head, drag them into
a broom closet,
yeah, exactly.
take their uniform,
exactly,
and then they'd never suspect it.
Walk by twirling a baton. Be like,
oh, so you stole a policeman's uniform in this situation? Okay.
Yeah. I guess that's a bigger crime for.
Yeah.
Tom, you did go undercover one time.
Yeah.
Infiltrated. You wore a disguise to go infiltrate the Scientology headquarters.
Yeah, the church's the Celebrity Center here in New York. Yeah, for a live show we did years ago. I wore a disguise. And it was some of the most fun I've ever. I got a fake scar. I wore a fake earring.
Yeah.
I had fake glasses. And then I shaved my beard into a mustache, and I combed my hair differently. Like I brushed it forward.
The hat would have been smart.
Yeah. What? Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably should have just worn a hat.
There's more versatility there.
Yeah.
Well, it's the PI guy. He's telling you all you need to know.
Well, now I know the next time I have to infiltrate a cult.
Yeah.
What I have to do. And then it turned out that like nothing, at least their New York operation is not up to snuff with like investigating people.
Yeah, they didn't teach you how to slap anybody.
I also don't
public
know.
Stage.
I forget why, but I was thinking about this recently. I think because I was watching like a Scientology video on YouTube.
You want Tom? I don't believe. I think it's 5-6 hours a day.
But I was thinking about this when I was in the Scientology Center and they made me take a quiz. Well, they didn't make me. I happily took the quiz, even though I had taken it online, but then they had no way to pull it up online. And they went through the quiz and they told me these results indicate that nobody likes you, including your family and your friends, and that you're at risk of killing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, we have a class starting up. That would be perfect. I don't know why I didn't take that class to see what that was like.
Money, Tom.
Yeah, but it was like $50.
Yeah, you would have gotten sucked in.
I don't think I would have gotten sucked in, but I think then I was worried that they would think like, oh, we've really got a live one. Let's do the full court press. And that I was a little afraid of, because then I thought that they might go back to the security footage and notice that I probably very obviously was considering stealing a small brass bust of L. Ron Hubbard that was on a desk. Very strongly considering.
If you did that, Tom, you would have finally earned my respect.
Yeah, imagine if you came over every week and there was just a little bust of L. Ron Hubbard on my desk.
And then they were listening. They were listening.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, that has a microphone built into it, you idiot. No.
Put it in the microwave.
I really should have done it. I really should have
You can go back. It's still there.
Yeah. But what if they're listening to this? And no, it's just like I feel like I had a perfect storm opportunity where even though I'm sure there was a camera in there, I doubt anybody was watching. And I think I could have just like grabbed it and walked out and been like, I changed my mind.
Was it heavy enough that if anybody stopped you could clock them on the head?
Yeah, but it was like small enough that I could have thrown it in my bag and I don't think anybody would have noticed. You know what the other thing was too, though? I was thinking like, oh, this like poor woman who's probably technically a slave already. If this went missing, they'd probably literally throw her in a dungeon somewhere. So, it's a way. I think I still would have done it. Some of the unglamorous sides. This wasn't talked about by the PI guy in the cons, but I'm going to include it in the cons. Well, this top 10 channel, they were talking about most surveillance nowadays is just making up a fake profile and doing a friend request to somebody on Facebook. Hunks and babes. That's what works. Make a profile where you look like a hunk or a babe.
Maybe we can use our own pictures.
Yeah, we save money that way.
We would have to license hunk pictures. Although we do
license.
have a big library of hunk pictures.
I mean, we could save a lot of money licensing. I thought we'd have to do a photo shoot.
You'd like that, wouldn't you? You do a cattle call for hunks.
Hunks and babes. Not together, though.
You get your cool pics out.
Get my Nikon cool pics. No, I have to use this camera. It's more authentic to this case. Another one, a lot of dumpster diving. Maybe you will be a great I want dumpster dive. What do you mean? Why are you saying?
That's how you get all your food, Tom.
Another one. This would be a bad one. Me and you were on stakeouts together. A lot of peeing in bottles.
Yeah.
And then they talked about pooping, and they were like, "You just can't poop. You just have to hold it." That's what pooping on surveillance is.
Yeah, we'll turn it into pee.
What? You'll turn it into pee? Tim, I think you understand how these things work. A lot of investigations nowadays too into like online dating. You know, people meet somebody online.
They want to see if they're getting catfished.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So they do that.
Is that what that show Catfish is about?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much that they
are they like
would
helping
find
people
that are being catfish. I mean, I think a lot of times it's probably super obvious, that it's like, oh, this like 6-year-old man has like a 20-year-old who has one picture of themselves, and they keep asking what his social security number is.
Right.
But yeah, apparently that's a lot of them.
Private investigators with social media. Now this just sounds boring and exhausting.
Well, it sounds boring and exhausting, and I also imagine that's the kind of thing where you get hired by somebody because they're suspicious, and then you come back to that person and you're like, yeah, so they're lying, and that person probably doesn't want to hear it. They're probably like, I'm going to keep dating them. I don't know. I'm looking at their profile picture and they're a hunk or babe.
Yeah. You get paid either way, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you don't like. It's not like, oh, you didn't catch.
No, I mean, I
in
think
the act,
you get paid by the hour. I think that's the standard.
We could also just be private investigators and be like, we went, we didn't find anything, but it took us 11 hours.
Took us 100 hours.
And
I think in that case you have to like still show something that you came up with.
I know.
We'll figure it out.
Standard stuff.
We'll get during that photo shoot with the hunks and the babes, we'll have them act out some scenes and we'll take pictures.
Exactly.
We'll have a green screen so we could just put stuff in the background later. Well, here's your husband on a date with this. My husband's not built like a brick shithouse. This isn't my husband.
Also, no, we're saying we didn't find anything. So we'll be like, he never showed up, but these people were there.
My husband's not tanned and oiled. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it, Tim.
Yeah, it seems pretty exhaustive.
Hey, seems pretty exhausting. And then I also just have in my notes that I didn't realize that the reboots of Magnum P.I., MacGyver, and Hawaii Five-0 all take place in the same universe.
Oh, really?
They have crossovers, yeah. Which
do they all take place in Hawaii?
Magnum P.I. does.
So does Hawaii Five-0. MacGyver,
I think he travels around. I think, maybe sometimes.
MacGyver was a cool show, the original one. Richard Dean Anderson, a cool guy.
You know what? I remember as a kid, I was thinking it was cool, but it was that part was cool. And then when he was actually making something, it was cool. But the rest of the show was boring.
His Murdoch was his like Moriarty.
Yeah. I think they were like, can we just make it Moriarty? And they're like, yeah, they changed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Murdochiarty.
Yeah.
If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgte.com. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/complete guide. Follow us on Instagram at tcgte, and follow us on Twitter at complete guide. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at your pal too.
Check out our subreddit r/tcgte, and check out our Discord, which is linked on tcgte.com. And check out our Patreon, as we were mentioning earlier. Hey, who knows? Maybe your topic will be picked one day. And
but it's more than just the topics.
Yeah, it's more than that. But I'm just talking about, the life-changing aspects that could happen by signing up. But you can also get weekly episodes of Books to Podcast. Right now, we're neck deep in On the Road by Jack Kerouac. And I haven't talked to you about it, Tim, but this week I hit my limit with certain things. With this knucklehead.
Nice.
And his moron friends. Patreon.com/complete guide to get all the back episodes too.
Hell yeah. Is what I say.
Who's your favorite fictional private investigator, Tim?
So Columbo's off the table.
Yeah, because he's a lieutenant.
MacGyver, maybe.
He's not a PI.
What is he?
I don't know. He's just like a guy that makes stuff.
No, he investigated things. He's not I think an official
like a mercenary
agent
or
of
something.
That's the same thing. Okay, Veronica Mars then, or okay. Veronica Mars' dad.
Okay, Mr. Mars.
Mr. Mars. Who's yours?
Batman.
See,
you idiot!
I knew you were gonna say Batman. He's not a
he's like not really a He doesn't
judge,
charge
jury,
people.
and executioner.
He's not an executioner.
I
was gonna say though, my second one, Perry Mason.
Okay, because you're a big Robert Downey Jr. fan?
No, but I do like that HBO Perry Mason that came out a couple of years ago. It's very good.
Cool. Tom,
Mm-hmm.
James Corden is leaving the Late Late Show.
Yeah.
Are you very upset about it?
Distraught.
Or are you excited that he has more time to act in movies?
Yeah, he's very good in everything he's in. It was very funny. Like anytime we were over in England, not anytime, but people would occasionally bring up like, why does he have a show over there? Why do people like him? It's like, nobody likes him. I think all of us thought you guys liked him.
Yeah.
And that's how he was able to come over. It's like, well, everybody over there likes him. Well, why'd you bring that up?
I don't know. It came across
I thought
my
you were
desk.
gonna came across. I had some papers handed to me. It's like when Kennedy was shot and just a paper was handed.
Exactly.
You've had a paper handed to you. This just in.
I was watching.
James Corden's leaving his show in a little more than a year.
Tom, you want to know something? YouTube. You want to know like the only YouTube video I've watched in like the last few weeks?
James Corden carpool karaoke.
Nope. It was a link. It was the night that Princess Diana died. They interrupted Saturday Night Live to announce it. And it was during the Joe Pesci show sketch starring
Joe Pesci.
Nope. Starring Jim Brewer as Joe Pesci.
Oh, okay.
But I remember it. I remember sitting in my family's family room on the computer on AOL watching SNL. I think it was a rerun. And they broke in.
SNL.
AOL SNL. And they broke in, and I was like, I want to relive that moment. And you can find it on YouTube. You can watch the first.
Did you boot up AOL and then?
No. You just watch the first minute and a half of the Joe Pesci show, and then a young Brian Williams comes on the screen.
Wow, a 14-year-old Brian Williams.
Yeah. So that's what I watch on YouTube.
Well, hey, to each his own.
You watch a bunch of Pissman.
I don't watch
videos.
Pissman videos. I don't want this idea getting around there. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, me
a guy
neither,
who
Tom.
likes to piss, a guy who likes watch other people piss.
Probably all of the above. If you
Well, he should set up
that moniker.
He should set up 2 different channels then, because
Maybe
that
he
appeals
has.
to 2 different people.
Why don't you?
You know what? I'm going to look up this
man.
piss guy. The piss guy, not the piss man. He's a casual.
See you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.